First thing that comes to mind is consistency. It has to be the same over and over and over. Then I'd say not missing left and right, not missing up and down. Hitting what you're focusing on. But if you're not focusing, if you're not choosing the right aim spot or focusing on the right thing, also your mental game, the concentration, the nerves that you might get when it's an important putt. I think those are the things that go into making a good putt. I think you have to learn about the types of putts. The push putt, it's a push with your arm. It's mostly hinging at the shoulder. The spin putt, you're spinning the disc more towards it. It's a little bit higher. Your disc is not coming down here as much as it was with the push putt. It's here, it's spinning. The turbo putt. The scoober. There's the behind the back putt. The main thing in putting is that you hit the basket over and over. You can do it repeatedly, and if you just pick up what works for you, think of it a lot like a free throw in basketball. You want to set up your body in certain ways that you are mitigating the misses. The easiest way that I've ever found to do that is to you want to always think in a straight line, okay? When you're putting, when you're looking at the basket, you want to imagine an imaginary line from your foot to the pole. You want to have that right on that line the whole time. You're going to pull it back towards you and release it straight in that line. A lot like an archer. When you pull back on a bow and you have your arrow, you're pulling back and then you release straight. So it's back, straight forward. Let it come out of your hands straight into your target. You know, a lot of beginners get started and you're thinking, well, my disc likes to hook up, it likes to hyzer. I need to putt out here and putt into the basket and, that way, because that's what my disc is doing. Well, no. You need to go straight back, straight forward. And at that point, you will start getting to where it's going right to where you're shooting it. Here's how I putt. I've basically taken on the push putt. It's push putt mostly because I'm generally keeping my elbow pretty much in the same position from when I start to when I finish. The main point that's moving, or the main hinge, is my shoulder. So I've got the disc, I bring it back like this by kind of loading my weight onto my back foot. My weight and energy here, and when I go forward, my foot comes off the ground because now my weight has moved forward through my hand, and a little bit of spin comes from when it comes out of my hand. Okay? So I'm trying to add a little bit of spin so that I can get a little farther, be a little bit more consistent, I guess you might say. And to do that, I am, instead of going down here quite as much, I'm going a little higher, maybe around where my waist is, my belly button, or even a little higher. But it's the same thing, so that gets me using my elbow a little bit, and I also try to kind of curl my wrist in, and then as it comes out, it goes out like this. I basically act like I'm shaking hands with the right side of the basket. It looks about like this. Benefits of the push putt, are that you don't miss left and right often. You're not using your elbow and your wrist as much, so you're just not going to be missing those ways as often. That's why a lot of players choose it, is because now your misses are just going to be low and high. So that's great. It's 50% of the battle, right? Basically now it's about my height, okay? So this comes down to a big part is, where are you aiming at? And a big thing people say in disc golf is aim small, miss small. So you don't aim for the whole basket, you aim for one specific chain link, and you focus hard on that. And you just think about hitting that one chain link. That's what you're thinking. Once you got that down, you just practice. Putt, 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 as much as you can. You don't have to have a practice basket like this. You can go out to your course, your local course, and putt around, you know, at the starting basket or whatever when nobody's waiting on you. Or you can take 3, 4, 5 putters with you, and every hole that you do, you putt that 4 or 5 times at the end of that hole. That's another way to just get some more reps in. One more thing, there's kind of an idea out there of how you ought to practice. Should you take only one disc at a time, like you would maybe, and go through in a tournament, go through your whole setup, take that one, do your whole routine? Should you do that each time? Maybe you should. Or should you get a little bit more of a rapid fire thing going? Just trying to get the muscle memory. Maybe you should do that. Maybe that works for you. Personally, I like to go with the second option. Throwing as many as possible in a short time frame, because I'm trying to get as much bang for the buck in this as I can when I'm practicing. And I watched a video not too long back made by Eagle McMahon, where he says he likes to do that. He likes to take his 5 putters and just throw them pretty much right after another, not too quick or anything, but not going through the whole routine on every single disc. The reason why he said was that he likes to just getting in a flow state and hitting those putts. And I think that that's the best way that I want to practice and what I plan to do, because the biggest thing is having that muscle memory. And just when you get in tournaments, you got nerves going on, all of a sudden you can't putt at all. I mean, everything's going low, it's all falling out of your hand, nothing feels right. Well, if you've done 10,000 putts, 50,000 putts that year, I don't know, but you've done so many putts and you know that motion that's going to kick in at some point for you. So that's what I think about it. Another thing is, I don't sit here and count how many I made, how many I missed. I don't get down on myself if I miss 5 in a row. I don't get really up too much if I made them all, that sort of thing. I just keep putting. I'm not here to count whether I'm putting well or worse or getting any better at putting. I'm just trying to get better at putting. Another thing this method does is it helps with your focus. I'm basically keeping my focus on my target between putts. So I might putt 5 times and my focus has been tight on that one link that I'm putting at. That helps a lot, because that is a skill in itself. just keeping focus long enough. Believe it or not, when you're out on the course and you've got that 10 seconds, 10, 15 seconds to make that putt, it's very easy for all of a sudden you lost focus. You don't know where your mind went. Who knows? It's gone. It's off. It's in the tree somewhere. And all of a sudden you realize my putt just went, you know, a foot and a half over the top of the band, and I'm 20 feet away. How did that happen? Well, you lost your focus, and that's okay. It happens. It's a very, very big part of disc golf, and that's why we do this to practice it. It's a skill you need to practice, and so that's what we're doing. Last point I want to make here is, in practice, I like to have a system just to keep track of how many repetitions I've done. Again, I don't do how many I've made, how many I missed, but I do like to track, and I have just a notepad on my phone, and I know how many discs this was, 32 putters, and I put them all in this tote as I do that. So 32, I load them back up, and I just count how many times I did that, and then multiply that by 32, put it in my phone with the date on that one little notepad that I have that's putts done and how many I did today. That way I can add them up, and just at some point in the future I can see how many I did this month, this year, whatever. Again, I think it's really important, and this is just kind of a life thing too, I think. Not that I'm any type of guru, but I'm not trying to be critical of myself or look at those and go, oh, I only did that many. I need to do a lot more. I am not good enough in my practice. That's not really what I'm doing. I'm doing this just to observe. And I think I heard that in a book. Maybe it was Zen Golf, but it was just observe. Observe what you're doing. Don't be critical of it. Just observe it. And that will help you then somehow just affect the outcome in the future. So there you go. Thanks for being here. Please like and subscribe, and add them up.